Look, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I do not want to live in a world where Alex Pereira was defeated by Magomed Ankalaev. That is a reality that I do not want any part of, but I'll be honest, I am a little bit absolutely mortified that that is where we're headed. And it's not because I think that Alex is going to lose, it's just that the optics of him losing I really don't like, okay? I'm sorry, I love Alex Pereira. I was so close to photoshopping my face over a picture of Alex's wife and putting it on the wall behind me. Now, I couldn't quite bring myself to do that, but I mean, look, point made, all right? And I think the crutch of all of this is Magomed Ankalaev is a Dagestani, and the thing about Dagestanis are they're just so technical. Okay, that is what it comes down to. Their fundamentals are so solid. There is a lot of things that Magomed Ankalaev can do to a high level. Now, of course, though, with that being said, there are a lot of dangers for him in this matchup. But there are also some dangers for Alex as well. And obviously, the big one is Ankalaev going to go out there, take Alex down, and hold him down all 25 minutes? That is the absolute nightmare scenario for all of us. And I think the thing we have to get past, the thing we just have to accept and move on here with this matchup is Magomed Ankalaev is a better wrestler than Alex Pereira. All right, that's not really up for debate here. He's going to be more technical in that area. His top pressure is a real problem. On the ground, he is going to be all around better than Alex. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be successful necessarily, but that is something we just have to accept and move on here. What it comes down to is Magomed Ankalaev going to be able to get deep on takedowns? Is he going to be able to set up his shots and get to Alex's hips consistently? And can he keep it up for all 25 minutes? That is the important question here. Obviously, at this point, we all know being a better pure wrestler, being a better pure grappler has nothing to do with how it translates to MMA, all right? Not at all. So there are a lot of very important variables we need to look at to be sure. But first, I wanted to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, DraftKings Sportsbook. This weekend, we have UFC 313, and that is why I've partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Guys, take it from me. When you bet just a little bit of money on those fighters you really believe in, all of a sudden, you're in it with them, and there is no better way to watch the fights. And if you are a brand new customer and you bet just $5, you will get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Even if sports betting is not yet legal in your state, don't worry. DraftKings is the one-stop shop for all things daily fantasy, where you can join in on all the fun and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Again, new customers, use my promo code MMAShay and just bet $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That is promo code MMAShay only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, gauging how they match up on the feet, of course, I've always said that I never felt like Magomed Ankalaev matches up particularly well against Alex on the feet. But there are a few things that he does that, yeah, like I said, very scary. Of course, right, Magomed Ankalaev is a counterpuncher. Primarily, he uses boxing more than anything else, but he does have pretty good kicks and decent kicking setups. And what he primarily always tries to do is get in your face, pressure you, force out your strikes, trying to bait you to overextend so he can slip, get on the inside, and use his hand speed and combinations to light you up in close. I mean, look, there is no question. In the pocket, he is way quicker than Alex Pereira, and his overall combinations are better. Here's the thing, though. It is extremely difficult to pressure Alex Pereira, and it is very difficult to get him to overextend against you. When you look at Ankalaev's last fight against Rakic absolutely did get pressure. He was getting walked down pretty much the entire fight, and I think that comes down to a few very key game plan errors that he was making that we'll get into. But one thing he was doing that I really liked was he was trying to be very kick heavy. He was throwing a lot of high kicks, leg kicks, body kicks, which, against such a boxing-heavy opponent, I think is great. Because Ankalaev is a southpaw, if you're an orthodox fighter, your kick off the back leg is just right there every single time. And there were moments he was having some decent success with head kicks. Though, when he was getting pressured, when he was getting walked down, he kept making the mistake of really trying to sit down on his right hands. And you just can't give him that. That is where his game opens up. He has really good eyes. He was slipping Rakic's shots, finding his counters, and then just walking him down the entire fight. Now, because Rakic was essentially just running away from him the entire time, not a lot happened, but you saw the skill differential on the feet here. Ankalaev just outclassed him, just kept walking him down, kept Rakic on the back foot. He was landing his straight left hands and just overall picked him apart pretty much the entire fight. Rakic just did not have the ability to hold his ground and strike with Magomed. He just didn't. When he would try, he would get cracked because, again, for the most part, he was trying to sit down on all of his right hands, and it is just a mistake. What Rakic should have utilized more, and where I think Alex Pereira could have a lot of success, is that Rakic did not utilize his jab enough. When he threw it, he would land it. That is the perfect way to try to prevent Ankalaev from walking you down without overextending. But he just wasn't going to it enough. And of course, it should go without being said, obviously, Alex Pereira's jab is one of the best aspects of his game. You cannot just get in Alex Pereira's face. That will not work. Alex Pereira does not like getting pressured. He is always looking to hold the center. And the difficult part about fighting him is when he lands, it is devastating. His jabs absolutely butcher people. When he fought Khalil Rountree, Khalil won the first 2 rounds. He even dropped Pereira at one point. He was doing very, very well, but he just got broken down as the fight went on. And he was very open about the fact that he did not fatigue cardio-wise. He just got broken down from accumulation of damage. The calf kicks were adding up, and the jabs were really adding up. If Ankalaev tries to get in Alex's face, Alex is not going to be overextending. He's going to stay long, he's going to land jabs and lead leg calf kicks all day long, which is sort of akin to how Jan Blachowicz approached his fight with Ankalaev. There were the occasional moment that he would overextend on a right hand. Ankalaev would immediately slip and then crack him with a counter shot, but for the most part, Jan just wasn't giving him anything offensively to work with. He would hang back, keep up a high guard, spam leg kicks, and just not overextend. And this completely stifled Ankalaev. It forced him to have to be the one to try to go first, and that is not where his game opens up. He is not nearly as effective when that's the case. You see here against Rakic, already in round 2, his lead leg was red from Rakic landing lead leg calf kicks, and he does not hide it nearly as well as Pereira does. But speaking of Khalil Rountree, there are a lot of similarities between Khalil and Ankalaev. They are both southpaw, they are both very quick. I would say Khalil is a little bit more explosive, whereas Ankalaev has better combinations in close. But again, I think there are a lot of interesting and scary takeaways here. For one, right, Khalil was having success landing his back left hand, just like Ankalaev was doing against Rakic. Though the thing that was really saving Pereira against Khalil was the fact that, again, Khalil couldn't pressure him. And because of that, every single time that Khalil blitzed in with shots, even though he was landing, Pereira was moving away with the shots, taking a lot of force off of them. Khalil's best chance of really hurting Alex would have been, again, to pressure him up against the fence where he can't move away and roll with shots. But that's really difficult to do. Of course, Yuri was able to do that in the very first fight because of just sheer awkwardness. The way he kept dipping his head back and forth, throwing all of these wild punches. It honestly kind of stunned Alex in the moment, and he didn't know what to do with it. But in the rematch, he really cleaned this up and was punishing Yuri's lack of defense. When he did briefly stun Pereira, it was because Pereira missed the head kick because Khalil is so short, and he got caught off guard, off balance, and overextending. Ankalaev, it's less likely a scenario like that plays out. But what really scares me, remember when Khalil landed that head kick on Alex? It's because Pereira loves to pull counter. He loves to pull on your right hand, land his own hook off of it. Khalil knew this, so he feinted the left hand, came with the same side high kick, and landed it. Ankalaev threw this exact same combination, feinted his backhand, threw a same side high kick, and he landed it fairly clean. Because Pereira loves the pull counter, that shot can be there, and it's there. If Ankalaev's team is doing the film study, they are going to be seeing this. And this was not just a one-off technique from Magomed. He did the exact same thing to Anthony Smith and landed the head kick fairly clean as well. Though, I am happy to report, though, that Pereira's chin at 205 is so much better than it was at 185. Let's be real. Pereira was never a middleweight. He had to cut so much. He had to get so frail to make that weight class that, yeah, he was kind of chinny there. But at 205, his chin holds up so much better. He ate this head kick, and that does relax me a little bit. But again, right, like I said, for the most part, Pereira's not overextending, but there were the occasional moment against Khalil that he did stand in the pocket and really try to throw, and he got tagged here. He cannot give sequences like this to Magomed Ankalaev. Not because he can't win if he does, he's just playing into Ankalaev's game. He needs to stand very tall, very long, jab, lead hooks, and calf kicks. As long as he does that and he avoids getting pressured, this should be a really difficult matchup stylistically for Ankalaev. I also think Alex can make this even worse for him by being extremely kick-heavy in this matchup. That would just completely limit Magomed's opportunities to slip and find counters. Again, being so boxing heavy, I think the less you box with him, the less he has. Look, you look at this sequence right here. Volkan Ozdemir is going for a kick. It looks like it's going to the body. Magomed is only blocking his body, and he sneaks it upstairs last second. It just narrowly misses, but you see, the opening is there. And of course, Alex has really good kicks. He sets it up well off of his calf kicks. He doesn't even turn his hips over most of the time, which makes it really difficult to see coming, and he can sneak it in so well. And his teeps are so fucking fast. If he can mix that in with the round kicks, it could be really difficult to read where these kicks are coming. And I think this is something that he really needs to use. So look, I just think overall, stylistically, you have to favor Alex Pereira on the feet. Of course, there are some tendencies that Ankalaev can take advantage of. But again, he is so dependent on pressure and forcing you to overextend. I highly doubt Alex is going to be stepping in and whiffing on any right hands badly. He just doesn't need to. He can hang back, jab, calf kick, and look to mix in the body and the head kicks very well and just sort of limit what Ankalaev can do on the feet. Though the deep, dark elephant in everybody's room staring all of us right in the eyes right now was the moment when Ankalaev was fighting Jan Blachowicz. Both of his legs were in critical condition. Jan absolutely destroyed both of them. One more leg kick on either leg, and that fight was over. So Ankalaev shot a power double leg, lifted Jan in the air, and slammed him. And pair that with this photo that Ankalaev put out showing him preparing for Pereira. He's wearing wrestling shoes. Look, again, right? Magomed Ankalaev is not a wrestler, but he has shown when he's desperate to win, he will use it, and he is very fucking good at it. All right, I'm sorry, you don't look at this sequence and just go, oh, no, that's nothing. That's nothing. No, that's something. That is something right there. And again, it comes down to the fact that these Dagestanis are technical. They're well-rounded. They've got fundamentals. And yeah, this is scary. Oh, and it gets worse. It gets worse because this is not the only time we've seen Ankalaev's takedown ability. You look at the Volkan Ozdemir fight right here. He catches a kick, grabs a single leg, switches to a body lock, and then trips Volkan's back leg to get him down. Now, though, of course, this did cause a scramble, and Ozdemir was able to stand back up very quickly. But still, the takedown ability is there. We look at the Thiago Santos fight. Ankalaev has him pushed up against the fence. Santos goes to dig an underhook, but Ankalaev clamps down on the underhook, steps behind him, and hits a clinch takedown, puts him flat on his back. The heart palpitations are starting to come. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting perpetually scared here. Though I will say, the silver lining here is Ankalaev, there is a very low chance he finishes Alex Pereira on the ground. Very, very low chance. The reason Ozdemir was able to get up off of this takedown was because there is no threat turtling and exposing your back. Ankalaev most likely is not sliding his hooks in and going for any chokes. It's just not really his game. At least we've never seen it. Again, right, Jan Blachowicz, right, he is horrible off of his back. Put him flat on his back, he's awful. But he is not a bad grappler by any means. He shot a double leg on Pereira, shoved him up against the fence. They kind of stalemated here for a while, but eventually he switched to the single leg, where this is where we've seen Alex be more susceptible to takedowns. He is very, very physically strong. If you're shooting a double leg on him up against the fence, he'll just plant himself into the ground. But when you pick up the single leg and you start off balancing him is where takedowns open up. So Jan gets him down, takes his back with the body triangle, and he is so fucking close to cinching this rear naked choke up. Like, it is almost there, but Pereira was able to survive and keep fighting. And again, right, Pereira forced Jan to hold himself up with the body triangle here. This is exhausting to do. The truth is, it is always tiring on your legs to hold the body triangle, but a position like this is far more ideal. But Pereira was purposefully making Jan hold himself up here, and that is why he fatigued so bad. So again, right, it's not like Pereira doesn't know what he's doing on the ground. I mean, at this point, he's been training with Glover for a very long time. And we've seen in the past, when he fought Yuri Prochazka, Alex did a really good job off of his back. He was using frames really well to completely stop Yuri's ground and pound, and he very specifically waited for Yuri to try to posture up to land strikes for him to get his back to the fence, grab a whizzer, and stand back up. You see, when you are pinning your opponent to the ground on top, you cannot be throwing strikes with any significant power. The second you posture up to really start raining down ground and pound, you are no longer pinning. And that is exactly what Pereira timed so well in that sequence. But in the brief moments we've seen Ankalaev grapple, his top pressure seems to be a problem. He gets his head higher than yours, making you carry his weight, which is going to be so difficult to stand up against. He's very good at trapping your arm in what they refer to as the Dagestani handcuff, I guess, or in traditional wrestling, just, wrist control. But the point is, I don't know if Pereira is going to be able to stand back up against Ankalaev. I just don't know. Honestly, I would probably lean towards him not being able to. And it's probably worth bringing up, Magomed's ground and pound against Anthony Smith was fucking absurd. The sound it was making whenever his shots were landing. It's a little scary. It's a little bit. But again, it is Anthony Smith, though, so I don't know if it actually counts. But, I am still a little nervous about it. Though, here's the question. For one, can Ankalaev wrestle over 5 rounds? Again, wrestling, takedowns, top pressure, he's capable of it, but it's not his game. Whether or not he can keep it up all 5 rounds, it's a complete question mark. I mean, I have no idea. But one thing I do know for sure is he's going to have to set up his takedowns decently well against Pereira. Again, Alex has been working on wrestling and grappling for, at this point, years now. It's not as simple as just grab him and he's going to get taken down. No, if you take a bad shot on him out in the open, he's going to defend it, no problem. So in order to set it up, there are going to be prolonged periods of them on the feet, right? Jan Blachowicz is the most durable guy at 205, no question. And he had his moments of setting up really good takedowns against Pereira. But it came at a cost because he was having to wait for Pereira to extend in with a shot to try to time it, duck underneath, and put him down. But those shots, again, because Pereira doesn't overextend often, were very few and far between. In those moments, he was eating a lot of jabs and a lot of calf kicks. Ankalaev is not nearly as durable as Jan Blachowicz is. And of course, Ankalaev and Jan are different. They have different strengths on the feet, but Jan absolutely is a very high-level striker, and Alex was landing on him. I think that when Alex does land on Ankalaev, it will be more devastating. And I think, again, in these moments of Ankalaev trying to find his moments of taking Alex down, he is going to be eating leg kicks and jabs, and those are going to add up. At least I fucking hope they do. I fucking hope so. Again, it's hard though. I do not know if Ankalaev can wrestle fuck Pereira all 5 rounds. I mean, I don't know. I don't think anybody does. I don't even think Pereira knows if that's possible. I think that, look, Pereira has his advantages in a lot of places. Ankalaev does have his advantages as well. I think overall, based on what we know, you have to pick Pereira to win this fight, but it's the unknowns that are keeping me up at night, and it's taking a toll on me, I'll be honest. I've been losing weight, I have been losing hair, I've been losing teeth, believe it or not. The stress is really starting to get to me here. The night terrors have been rough. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm rambling now because that's how fucking scared I am, okay? I'm picking Pereira to win, but I'm afraid that Ankalaev might just wrestle fuck Pereira all 5 rounds. I'm afraid he might try to feint a left hand, do a high kick, and knock Pereira out. I'm afraid that he's going to blitz Pereira with a backhand and land it maybe right on the chin and hurt him. I don't know, man. I'm scared, but I'm picking Pereira here.